Let's start with Joey Porter Jr. And the defense of him had something to do with the receivers. Okay, but what about Joey Porter Jr. having 22 penalties and 2 interceptions in his career so far? Did I mention that he's had 7 more declined penalties? There's a website out there called NFLpenalties.com. That's where we keep the receipts around here. And Joey Porter Jr., better known as Joey Penalty Jr., has 32 flags limits. In how many games has the dude played?
That's as many teams in the league.
Yeah, 1 per team. 32 penalties called on him and 2 interceptions. So this quick sort of defense of him, just sort of ending the question, sort of minimizing the question, where Tomlin says, I think that had a little something to do with the opponent. Okay, let's look at some other times that Joey Porter has logged multiple penalties in the same game. Last year, Denver, 3 penalties. Washington, 3 penalties. Cincinnati, I don't even know how to count how many penalties. I guess that's because of the receivers. Baltimore, wild card weekend, 2 penalties. So in the 2 games against Cincy, he does have, I think, 8 flags thrown. That's ridiculous, man. And he gets away with crap. He also held T. Higgins' arm late in the game down the right sideline. It should have been more. I thought, silly me, that this was one of the greatest defenses of all time. I thought the Steelers could line up and cover anybody man-to-man, like Mike Tomlin said multiple times in the preseason, including to Ryan Clark. I thought, silly me, that Joey Porter Jr. was drafted to cover Bengals receivers. To answer that question like that, to me, was very, very disappointing. I'd imagine those 2 receivers have something to do with it. How about cover them without cheating? He seems to have a hard time doing that, Limits. Did I mention he has 32 penalties in his career? 22 enforced. I don't even know what it is. 22 enforced and 10 declined. Something ridiculous like that. I didn't like that answer. That's a hell of a lot different. Do you have the clip from the podcast, the Pivot podcast from the beginning of the season about how the Steelers could cover anybody man-to-man? Okay? Anybody man-to-man. This was Ryan Clark asking about Joey Porter, who, by the way, declared himself elite before the season. Has anybody detected eliteness out of Joey Porter Jr. since he got here? I'll wait. I'll hang up and listen. I'd imagine those 2 receivers have something to do with it. Yeah, that's why you drafted him, to cover them. And that's a far cry from the quotes you were giving Ryan Clark at training camp before the season when Clark mentioned Slay, who you missed on clearly. He's lost a step. Ramsey and Porter, and Ryan Clark was intimating, hey, Joey Porter's a number 1. Was he sure about that? I don't know. And this was Tomlin's answer when Clark said, yeah, man, you guys can cover anybody man-to-man.
With that collection of guys that you mentioned, I feel like we could do it against anybody. No disrespect to Cincinnati or anybody else that has an elite group, but that's just a level of confidence that we have in that collective.
And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that I'm tired of hearing about, and I thought we could bury that game for a little bit, but it keeps rearing its ugly head.